the raw material for this. It is the contractors, the PMs, and the project management teams that are responsible for this. So we've got the next bit of reassurance that was kind of provided by the Obama administration was the nomination of a chief performance officer, who is not that lady there, but I discovered as I was preparing for this that she actually withdrew her nomination, her appointment due to some tax problem. But there's another gentleman by the name of Jeffrey Zint, who's occupying that post right now as part of the Office of Management and Budget. And the whole idea is to kind of raise the profile of the type of reporting, the quality of reporting that we were looking at before, and try and push that down across the whole space for contractors and procurement, and to fulfill what has been a bipartisan campaign promise to try and do something to fix the broken procurement process. So as a taxpayer, I think this is great. We're going to make government more efficient, and we're going to reduce waste, and we're going to do something about those leeches, federal contractors that are out there taking advantage of the government's money. But again, this is what I think of really as a project manager. Is this is what is kind of a chief performance officer being kind of a scary thing. And I feel kind of a choking sensation as Darth Vader is coming upon me, telling me that my estimate to complete is not what it needs to be. So this is all creating the beast that must be fed. And this goes not only for our, for us as project managers and contractors, but also for the government employees too, who are having to provide this information. I mean, it's all a good thing, but it's not easy. And with the new watchwords being accountability and transparency, what I see happening is requirements for reporting, more reporting, and of course much more frequent reporting, and under a resource-constrained environment with resources never enough to do this type of thing. So the other trend that I certainly see from my world is just acceleration of use of things like these types of contract types, which are all designed to shift the risk away from the government and onto the contractors, which is all well and good, but it takes extra time, takes extra resources, and given the competitive state of things, when you're starting to bid on fixed price, on performance-based type of contracts, on award fees and award penalties, we're facing the same types of problems. We've never really been here before. In many cases, we don't really know what we're doing, and we're getting ourselves into some problems that ultimately it's the project manager that's getting handed these projects and programs, saying, okay, here you go, knock yourself out. Make sure you bring it in on cost, on schedule, and by the way, keep that profit up where we need it to be, or else. None of this is bad stuff. I mean, again, I think earned value can be a very beneficial tool for all types of projects, and more of a believer in that. I mean, it's another discussion, but it takes time, it takes resources, it takes know-how, and these are things as project managers you have to invest in. You have to be ready, and it's just not going to get any easier anytime soon. To illustrate this a little bit, this is a chart that I've adopted from some performance presentations from Office of Management and Budget and Earned Value Management community of practice, or community of excellence, or something. But the idea being is that the blue curve is the performance management baseline. I mean, it's really where we are bidding these contracts and showing that this is how much we're going to spend over time. But what the OMB has been saying is to the government, to contract people in the government, saying, look, recognize recognize the environment you're in, recognize the environment the contractor's in. They are underbidding these things. And so they might be bidding that blue line, but they really kind of know that the red line is where they're going to end up. So, but they're bidding the blue line in order to win the job. And again, this, I don't know if you ever heard this before, but when you've been handed a project, you say, how can I do this? I don't have enough people. I don't have enough resources. And it's the winner's problem. You figure it out. But what the government has been saying is that, what OMB has been saying is to the agencies is, look, you need to build that in. You need to kind of go through with your contractors and work this, kind of carefully and studiously go through the integrated baseline review process and work through the projects and the schedules and identify really the risks are, and be ready to add that extra increment at the top over and above the management reserve, but as the risk reserve at the top, that will enable us to really actually do these jobs in a predictable, plannable way. But we're dealing with a lot of human nature things here because, again, down at the blue line, companies like mine are out there fighting tooth and nail to win these jobs, and nobody really wants to bid those resources, especially for the program management offices. Sorry.
Is it okay to ask questions as you're going?
Sure.
Okay. My question is since you have this observation of this graph, are wages being artificially driven down to meet the expectations of that red line?
To the maximum extent possible, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have an experienced staff, you would actually go out and outsource new staff that was at a lower salary level than your current staff.
But it's a balancing act. You know, if you have people who, if you have somebody who you know that knows how to configure an Exchange server and will be able to get it done in a somewhat predictable amount of time, you will fall on your sword before you'll let that person go. I mean, I've seen it.
I'm just trying to ask what the trend is.
Well, the trend is definitely is to push the cost down, especially when you're talking about fixed price, about performance based, where it is all the risk is on the contractor, and it is. And there's the bifurcation in these organizations between the business development that says, we're going to win this job. We're going to do whatever it takes to win this job. We must win this job. And then the project managers who are saying, okay, what have you given me? What is this?
So as you move, as the government tells you to move from a T&E type of contract into a firm fixed price kind of contract, instead of the margins being up around 30 or 32% or something like that, is that trend starting to shift down towards 20%?
20% would be great. I mean,
okay.
That's high. That's still high from what I've seen. Particularly when you get into like commodity type of services like help desks, for example, and then that's really where the cutthroat comes in terms of really pushing down the costs. And there's this perverse incentive on the hand of the government managers also to push. They get rewarded and they are stroked when they bring in contractors at a lower cost, of course. You're saving the government money. You're squeezing efficiencies out that were not there before. But sometimes